Hi, gang. How's everybody? It's a beautiful day. Oh boy. What's the temperature? In the 60s? We're here in the mountains. It is about 64. Sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. And Gail has had me working out in the woods all day. Chopping wood, cutting limbs, lopping off limbs, spraying insecticide. It's just unbelievable. I'm going to have to make some changes, it looks like. We've been together 55 years and we're still on a trial basis, believe me. Welcome to the program, everyone. I hope you'll be able to join us. We're talking outdoors. I will tell you that we will not be discussing George Floyd or the trial or the young man who got shot and stood as tased. No politics. None at all. Won't that be refreshing? Oh my goodness, that's we're in the throes of an overload of communication, and it's biased, unbelievably biased. But that's enough of that. Turkey hunting season's going on most of the places in the country. I know in the case of Travis out in Oklahoma and Texas, they have suspended the balance of the turkey season with regards the Rush Creek guide services because the turkeys are all gone. They haven't had a good harvest in a couple of years, so instead of taking people's money and having them sit around and chat about hunting, they've suspended the season. Good. I had a good friend tell me this week that he hunted yesterday morning, and in a fabulous hunting territory here in the mountains of North Georgia, and he happened to have seen one hen, and that one hen had already seen him. Here's a tip. First of all, let me comment about why are we not seeing turkeys? Well, you're in the prime mating season, and once that gobbler flies down and his buddies, Jakes and minor gobblers, join him, and he makes friends with all the ladies that are around. They observe, but as I've learned from the DNR scientist, because of him, their testosterone levels are such that they really don't mind. So he stays with he stays with the hens most of the day. They don't go sit on the nest yet, as a rule. So there you are. I see a note from Todd Staley. Honey, do you see that?
I do.
Wanting to know when I'm going to Costa Rica. Would I love to go to Costa Rica again, to Crocodile Bay Lodge? It's one of the most fantastic trips I've ever been on. I must have gone 10 or 12 times, and every one of them beautifully done. But right now, Todd, I have no plans. Other younger people can, and I may. You never can tell. I might surprise you one day. So,
I'd love to go back.
Oh yeah, Gail loved it. It's and you guys have really upgraded, I understand, also.
They didn't need to.
Which was fine. It was pretty close to paradise. It must be the best bill fishing in the world at a free country. I mean, there might be Uganda or something like that with more sailfish, but I don't know of it.
We might come down there and live.
Oh, I understand that Costa Rica's paradise for the Americans to go live. All right, so we're talking turkey hunting, and let me give you a suggestion. You sit down in the next few days, and you're all comfy, and you call. Tree call. Gobbler answers. Ooh. 10, 15 minutes go by. You cluck once, but he answers again. And you can tell from his answer that he's facing you and he's closer than he was. I'm recommending to you, those of you who are unsuccessful, because I have had many hunters be in touch with me, and that usually limit out. They usually take 2 or 3 turkeys a year, and now they're more than happy to have had one or had one opportunity and it didn't fulfill. Nobody's hearing them. So what's the change? Try this. When you hear that second gobble, he's closer and he's on the ground and he's probably facing you. Wait 10 minutes and crow call or owl hoot very quietly instead of making any more turkey sounds. I think after you have called 2 times that the gobbler could probably fly over and land on your head. He knows exactly where you are. You don't need to do any more turkey calling. Now, I have had the following happen to me. It's almost comical. I got him in sight. 2 gobbles. And he never got any closer. It's happened 2 times, and I gave up on him. I handed him off to someone else. And I don't think he's dead now, of course, because this was 10 years ago. But he never was shot. No, indeed. This was a stubborn critter. He evidently didn't need me that much, or I was insufficient in bringing him to me. I don't use a decoy in those cases, because if he can see the decoy, he's going to stop. Because the decoy needs to come to him. Now, you may put another gobbler or a jake next to her that might work, but the only place I've ever seen that work was with the Rio Grande turkey out west. And of course, the Rio Grandes, I mean, they just come in and say, shoot me, shoot me. Here's my buddy, shoot him too. You know, they really are. Yes, ma'am.
Someone wants to know what was the name of the book that Roscoe wrote. I don't think Roscoe wrote a book, did he?
Not to my knowledge. And the question is, Roscoe Reams, who's the best turkey hunter I ever spent any time in the woods with, I don't think he ever wrote a book. He started hunting turkeys in the 1940s, and how he got around to so many places with such ease and develop his skills was he worked for Delta Airlines, so he got to fly places without charge. So he flew to Alabama, and he flew to Louisiana and Florida and the Carolinas and Tennessee, and he was the best ever. And he was the one, and it's being confirmed over and over again, he is the one, he is the hunter that I had the pleasure of sitting in the woods with that told me to time the gobbles, time the answers, and patience kills turkeys. Once I remember, I just thought of this, and it has such a great application. Travis was doing a show with Roscoe, and you didn't practice with Roscoe. You know, you just turned on the camera. You stand here. Travis, you stand here. The lighting is okay. Everything is all right. Go. And Travis asked Roscoe, and what a lesson this is in life. Travis asked Roscoe, what is the most important part of the hunt? Is it the scouting, the setup, the camo, the stealth, the shot placement? What is the most important part of the turkey hunt? And his answer is like Socrates. Whatever it is that you're doing at the time is the most important part of the hunt. And that applies in life also. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to give away a reciprocating song?
Yeah. It's backwards. It's backwards, of course. But I'm going to, at the end of today's program, I'm going to Works. I don't give it away. Works does. Works Tools is giving away an axis reciprocating saw. That's about $100 item, and we'll get it to you in a couple of weeks. Yes, ma'am?
Okay, you need to tell them how this works.
We're-
That Karen is monitoring, and she will pick a winner at random.
Right.
And then she will text me and let me know who it is. We'll tell you when you can stop commenting or whatever. I have no idea how she picks them. It's at random. But
Someone else is picking that. It's not
not-
me, and nor is it Gail.
yeah, it's down in Peachtree City.
It's Houston. She lives in Peachtree City, Georgia, and she doesn't know any of you, which she's thankful for, and she will pick the winner.
Yeah, and then we will let you know. So you need to keep watching.
Keep watching. Keep
you know, 'cause you
being
might-
there so that
'cause
we
we'll
can
need to get your information.
solicit your information and send you the saw. I don't know last week if we ever sent the saw. We never found the guy, I don't think.
Oh,
I don't know.
really?
I don't know. I don't know that we ever found him. But anyway, there you are. So, that's a little bit about turkey hunting. Yes, ma'am?
He won't get one.
He won't get one. Turkey, now, the best days for turkey hunting are upcoming. Ooh, how's that? The end of the season is the best time for you to get your Yelp answered, your tree call answered, and the best time for you to get a gobbler to come to see you, because all the other hens have gone to sit on the nest. So you're the one now. But that doesn't mean, gosh, I've been around guys before. They call when they're getting dressed. They call while they're at breakfast. They call in the truck on the way to the woods. They call when they're walking to the stand. You're max 3 times, probably 2. And your second call might ought to be an owl hoot or a crow call, because the crow call or the owl hoot will not spook the turkey. Another hen call very well may. After all, this talented contest level calling, I have never heard that in the woods except from a human. The worst calling in the world comes from a live hen. It's awful. It's the rhythm of the call. The cadence of the call is what the gobbler hears, and it's real to him. It's not competition at the local gym, at the local turkey club. Okay, it's not. I know that one of the most almost comical things, I used to go to these turkey shows, and everybody's walking around the room calling, practicing, getting ready for the contest. Contest calling is not what kills turkeys. Contest calling is for contest. Okay. Now, yes, ma'am.
Did you already say that some of the worst calling you've ever heard came from a turkey?
Oh yeah, that's right. I've been really close to within 15 feet of turkeys and them calling, and it's just absolutely awful. Well, they call always. They're always communicating with the members of the drove. A drove is a flock of turkeys. They're always communicating by sound to know where everyone is, but they're not necessarily yelping to a gobbler. They're just calling among themselves. See? Okay. We depend too much on calling, but well, remember, the most important part of the hunt is whatever it is that you're doing. Okay?
And patience.
Patience kills turkeys, a la Mr. Roscoe Reams. Now, book, remember last week? The book, Illumination in the Flatwoods. That's the first book you read. The second book is Illumination in the Flatwoods. You read it 2 times. That's where you learn about turkeys, about their habits, about their habitat, about their lives, what they listen to, what they disregard, what they find as enemies. Where are their enemies? Where do they look for them? How do they change when they grow old? Illumination in the flatwoods. I bought a book today. It's don't laugh. I bought The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and I started reading it this afternoon.
Is it good?
Oh, it's wonderful. An absolute masterpiece. So,
does a hen turkey lay a hatch more than one set?
yes, she lays an egg a day,
Okay.
and she will keep breeding until her birthing mechanism ceases. And then she'll go sit on the nest. She'll go and lay an egg, and she'll get bred the next day, and then she'll go and lay an egg and get bred the next day until she doesn't get bred any longer. And that's when the flies down in the morning. The gobblers and the hens roost in different places. They don't roost together.
Okay.
They can't stand each other at night.
Okay, we've had two different people have made a recommendation for
Okay.
your Medal of Honor winners.
Oh, okay.
And instead of going into it over the show, I'll show it to you after the show. And it's possible you might have already done them. I don't know.
Okay.
Because you've been doing this a long time.
Yes.
So thank you for those recommendations, and we will absolutely give it consideration.
I appreciate you all commenting like you do about the Medal of Honor segment, or the Medal of Honor tribute, really, that we have every Saturday morning on the radio show at WSB 95.5 FM and 750 AM, and you can hear it all over the whole East Coast. So.
And then you can go to O'Neill Outside and watch it live.
As a matter of fact,
Well,
I
not
should
live,
I should
but
mention that you can watch this show and all of our Facebook by going to Facebook. You can watch that and watch the Medal of Honor winner and watch the radio show televised by going to O'Neill Outside on Facebook. So there you are. The Medal of Honor tribute is a privilege. And all know the reasons why I do that. I'm not going to go into that again. I'll tell you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, a young buck recently showed up on a camera, and he has an arrow in his back.
Oh.
Is there anything I can do to help him?
No.
Should he call the DNR?
Well, you can call the DNR if it relieves your conscience. But if you've seen a white-tailed deer with an arrow in him, and he's still walking around alive, he'll probably survive. There's no catching him, there's no trapping him in any case, and maybe next year you'll see him bigger. The arrow won't be any bigger, but he will, and I hope so. So, just a minute, I gotta have a drink.
All right. Remind one more time about there'll be a drawing for the saw at the end of the program. So you guys that are on here, like right now, need to keep.
You stay here now, because if you gotta stay here on, and continue to be a part of the show, to have your name drawn so that you can receive the Works reciprocating saw. See, this saw blade turns down, and it becomes a jigsaw. It's really good stuff. And I got to tell you, this battery-powered stuff from Works Tools, I've got a chainsaw that's battery-powered, and it's hot stuff. It's really good. I've become a little bit more of a craftsman because of it. I'm no craftsman. I'm just a talker, really. So, okay. All right, let's talk about fishing for a moment. Two things. You'll be in lakes now and over the next few weeks in which you'll be fishing for bass, probably shallow, because that's our natural tendency, is to fish too shallow, too long, and too often. So this is the time of the year with the water temperature at 62 to 64 degrees that you will fish shallow. I would like for you to consider the following, and I mentioned this last week, and I would like for you to continue to keep it in mind. If you're fishing for bass and you're fishing for shallow bass, especially if you're in Florida and South Georgia and these flatland lakes, you will see mature females on the bed. Resist trying to catch them. You say, well, O'Neill, I mean, if I catch her, I'm going to put her back. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to put her back. And, okay, but does she go back to the bed? That's the question. Does she go back to the bed to protect the eggs? I don't know. Neither do you. What if she doesn't? What happens to those eggs that are in the bed if she doesn't return? Well, they're eaten by brim and other predators. So if you catch her and put her back and she doesn't revisit the bed, or you catch her and you keep her, then you have, in essence, removed 100 12-inch bass out of that pond, out of that lake in a year. Because out of that clutch, out of that nest that you see her sitting on, if it fulfills its possibilities, there will be 100 12-inch bass to live because of what comes out of that nest. If you catch her, you just caught 100. So if you're concerned about the number of fish in the lake, then maybe you should not catch that bass. There are plenty of males around there. Catch them. They're a lot easier, a bunch of dumb males, they're a lot easier to catch. After all, she's going to stay there and resist everything that you put to her. I know a guy, he's hard-headed, dumb as a rock, and what he used to do was put a big treble hook with a weight at the end of the line and a big treble hook and cast into the bed and snatch them. Mm-hmm. We had words. I never told you that, did I?
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
I could have knocked his head off too.
We had words when I found out what he was doing, and he was happy about it. He thought he was really being smart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, don't do that kind of stuff around me.
Okay, somebody wants to know when you're going to release your new book.
I bet I know who that is. The guy from Brookhaven. I don't know. It's almost finished. I will soon, one day. Right now.
He's got writer's block.
Right now, I have columns, newspaper columns, that appear in newspapers all over South Georgia, and it's growing every day. So I have a outdoor column in the newspapers, the neighborhood newspapers, so to speak. I remember one time, this was about 12, 14 years ago, and I wrote a column every week for the neighborhood newspapers. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I got fired by the sports editor at Athens. I won't call the name because it might be the wrong one, so I'll just call it the local newspaper in Athens, Georgia. He said he didn't need an outdoor column. And he wrote to me a note firing me in pencil on a yellow pad.
He didn't have a secretary.
Ignorance runs rampant, no matter what the industry. Yeah, he fired me. And I never have written for that paper since, but I write for others. And I will again for them if they ask. So, anything else right now?
Let's see, I don't.
We got 5 minutes, and then we need to sign off or so. I think this should last only a half an hour. What do you guys think?
I think 30 minutes is
30 minutes is enough, isn't it?
If people if you would not mind, please share this
Okay.
show to other people.
Oh.
And then we can get our viewership up. And
Good idea.
When we look on there and see that there's more than 5 people.
Yeah, right now there's 31 people watching, and they need to share this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they can, if you don't mind.
Yeah. We would
I mean, I don't get paid to do this. It's not like there's a sponsor for this.
No, you don't have a sponsor.
Oh,
Forget
maybe
it.
maybe we should have a
No.
No?
No, I don't want you working anymore in your yard.
Oh. Okay. All right, we've talked about turkeys, we've talked about fishing, but after this bedding season is over, the fish, the largemouth and the spots are going to leave the banks. And where are they going? They're going to go out the sides of the points, they're going to go out the creek channels, and they're going to go into deep water around the trees and substructure. Does that mean you should fish deeper? Yeah, you should. After the bedding season, you should fish deeper. If the dogwoods are blooming right now for white bass, you need to be up the river. And this is so funny. When I talk to people about sponsorships and where things are going and how easy, if you will, an outdoor show, whether it's this or a radio show or a television show or a newsletter and all that kind of stuff that we do, I get asked by a non-outdoorsman, how do you know all this? How do you keep this up? Listen, the outdoors is the same thing over and over and over again. If you learn the rules, then it has, I mean, when the water temperature is 60 degrees and muddy one year, and the next year it's 60 degrees and muddy, it's the same thing. And so on. Clear water, cold water, hot water, whatever. What? What are you laughing at?
In response to you getting fired over...
Yeah.
He said you should have sent your response on a varsity napkin. That's great.
I wish I could remember that guy's name.
Well done, Mike.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much. All right, now somebody's asking, well, what if the deepest part of the pond is only 5 or 6 feet? Ooh, great question. In the summertime, all right, the fish have left the banks, the 2 and 3 feet. They're in the deepest part of the lake in a pond. But the deepest part, you know, down close to the dam, or, you know, it might,
Okay.
it's time to quit.
It's time to, okay, nobody else is going to be considered
Okay.
as of this moment, because we've got about a minute and a half before we have to sign
Okay.
off. So,
If you've signed on, there are people that are on now.
right.
Okay.
If you're on right now, then you're eligible. Karen will pick the winner from what's on there at this moment.
Okay.
Karen, go for it.
Go for it, Karen. Now, in shallow ponds, the fish, the largemouth bass will remain shallow, 5 or 6 feet if they can't get any deeper, and they will remain around and in the brush, not the brush, the weeds. They will bury into the weeds because there's some oxygen there. And if it's a little pond with shallow water around it, but deep in the middle, in the summertime, they will not go into that deep water because there's no oxygen there. I learned that from a biologist at the University of Georgia. Okay, we're about out. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm just waiting on Karen to send me a text.
Okay, so Karen is going to send a text and we'll tell you who won the Axis reciprocating saw. Is that her?
No, that means you've been on 30 minutes.
I've been on 30 minutes.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
okay.
before
Okay.
we leave,
Okay, all right, go ahead. But
who's the
I
winner?
think I have the answer.
Who's the winner?
I'll tell you in just a
Okay.
moment.
Next week, visit me at o'neilloutside.com. You can visit me there, email, o'neilloutside.com, and you can watch you can watch 200 O'Neill Outside shows on Waypoint Outdoors, Carbon TV, Prime TV, Hunt Channel, My Outdoor TV, Fox Networks. You can watch the television show like mad. And go to, I forgot what I was going to say. I had something really good. Oh, I know. Go to o'neilloutside.com. Leave me a note on the email there and tell me what you'd like to talk about next week. Instead of my idea, maybe it should be your idea. And maybe we should.
Wow, thank you. Kelton, thank you. He shared 36 to 52 viewers.
Oh, boy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
All right, Karen has gotten back to me.
And here's the winner.
Here is your winner.
Neil Murphy.
Neil Murphy.
I'll be darned. Neil Murphy, Neil, you won the reciprocating saw, and I'm sure we have the information, and we'll be in touch with you. And then
We don't have his information.
what does he need to do?
He needs to send us his information.
Neil, you need to send me your information.
Yeah, hello.
Can he send it to me on this Facebook page or what?
He can do it that way, or he can Houston at O'Neill. Houston at o'neilloutside.com.
Okay.
Is that right? I forgot what she said. It was. Let me go back.
You stay right there now, because we've got to get the way for Neil to let us know his shipping address and everything.
I got to get back in touch with Karen. Hold on.
So that we can send the reciprocating saw to Neil Murphy. Okay, that name sounds familiar. Well, anyway, but be in touch with O'Neill at o'neilloutside.com. Visit there, and
tell him to send it as he can always send it to Messenger.
okay, send a message.
Yeah.
Go to o'neilloutside.com and send a message. Is that right?
I think so. No.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
He'll know how to.
Allison says yes. Do that.
Do that. Okay.
Allison says send it to Messenger. Send me your name and address, and we'll send you the saw. It's Allison that'll be sending the saw.
Yes, that's true.
So-
But Karen is the one who picks the winners, so we just send it. I know it's confusing. We have there's method in our madness.
Yeah. Well, I hope to run into the editor there at the sports editor that fired me 12 or 15 years ago. Well, what he's doing these days? He's still writing in pencil on a yellow pad, probably. We had words about that. So,
You have words with him about that?
no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else.
Oh.
I felt like having words. No, I took the firing. I considered the firing from the Athens Herald,
You weren't supposed to say that.
the Athens newspaper. I considered it in the same vein that it was written. Pencil on a yellow pad, saying, "We don't need an outdoor columnist." Fishing is the #1 most popular participatory sport among men in the world.
Well, how about the fact that the AJC doesn't have anything like that? And remember, they used to have a great
man.
every Sunday.
That's
They had an
Thursday
outdoor
and
page.
Sunday. There was an outdoor page.
A whole page above and below the fold.
Charles Salter and Kent Mitchell.
Yep,
It was a really good outdoor page.
it was. And now
Two
as
men
far as I know, they
devoted to it. I was in the store the other day and I started to pick up an Atlanta Journal.
I wouldn't mind watching
It was,
at it.
but it was free.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I started to bring it home. Next time I'm out, I will.
They used to do two times a day. You got the Constitution in the morning, and you got the Journal
That's right.
in the afternoon.
Here, Mike Terrell says I still eat at the Varsity. I can still get a napkin. It's not too late.
Yeah, but he's got to find out the name.
I wish I could remember that guy's name. It's so funny that funny, disappointing, strange. I'll give you a little example. My television show and radio program was sponsored for about 15 years by, and all of you guys in business recognize this, it was sponsored for 15 years by Shakespeare. And we had a wonderful relationship, had great response to the ads. I used Shakespeare gear on all my shows. It was fabulous. And the guy that headed it and approved of the relationship between Shakespeare and O'Neill outside television and radio, he retired. And so the next iCast, which is the big fishing show that nobody goes to anymore because of COVID, I had an appointment with the new advertising director for Shakespeare. I said, oh boy, well, I've been at it for 15 years. It's worked great, so I'm looking forward to it. And I will not call her name, but she was 26 years old. She didn't watch outdoor shows. She didn't know why anybody else would watch outdoor shows. And after, at that time, being on the air for 20 years, she didn't have the slightest idea who O'Neill was, or the radio show, which is, and I continue, the #1 live, outdoor-based radio talk show in the world. And she wasn't listening to a single thing I said. And I lost that sponsorship after 15 years. Okay, cork's back in the jug. Thanks for joining us. And if you had time to share this, I thank you very much. And in the next day or so, all of this will be on Facebook. And if it makes you happy, you can watch it again and doubt everything I say.
And you will also go on there and answer any questions that might have come in that we did not get to answer.
Absolutely. Just be in touch. Let's communicate. After all, it's just fishing. It's not really important.
It isn't?
Well, it's important to make a living. You know what? And all right, I'm on a roll, all right? Just a second. I'm always flattered when I travel or go to a sporting goods store with people who will meet me and actually say some substance of, we look at you as a hero. Let me tell you something. Being on television and radio is not heroic. The next time you see a policeman, a fireman, maybe a school teacher, a doctor,
an EMT,
a nurse, an EMT squad, tell them and thank them for their heroic lifestyle and heroic occupation. Being on television and radio is not heroic.
And especially right now with police officers.
Yeah. Police officers.
Everybody understands that.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
I hope you do. And if you want to cause trouble, if I noticed the other day I read where a young man, 19 years old, and his buds decided to break into a house. 3 of them are now dead because the man who owns the home was there and he was armed. I'll see you next week.
Well, don't forget
what?
the sheriffs.
Oh, what?
Milton added sheriffs in addition to police officers.
Oh, sheriffs stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, policemen and sheriffs. Milton sent us a note, said sheriffs are, can I tell that joke?
No. 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 No.
No, that's a really funny joke.
It is funny, but you cannot tell it.
Oh.
I cannot think of a way you can tell that joke. I'm sorry.
Next week, if Gail's not here, I'll tell you the joke.
You can have Milton call in and tell the joke.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
On the radio show? Well, I won't.
No,
yeah.
on this.
Oh, okay. Well, how can he do
you,
that?
You won't get by. You won't get away with that on WSB.
No, I guess not.
No. Oh, Allison just said no.
Cargyle said the buds calling on the broke into the guy's house.
Uh-huh.
Cargyle says it's natural selection.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, I'm glad you took time to join us. It's always a wonderful visit. This is O'Neill and Gail, and we've been married 55 years, and it's still a trial. She might stick around. I don't know.
Yeah.
See you later.